Here I am outside for another Wildlife Biology for Kids Club video, but you notice even though I'm in nature, there is a white cloth behind me. What's up with that? Well, we're going to continue to talk about pollination, but pollination is a 24-hour job. And just like a gas station that's open all night, there is a day crew and a night crew. Today, we're talking about one group of the night crew. Moths. You may think of moths as just being a more dull butterfly, but when it comes to pollination, they actually outperform butterflies. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into moths. I'm going to teach you how to attract moths to your space, hence the white cloth that is behind me, and encourage you to observe them, take pictures of them to upload to iNaturalist for community science so that scientists can better understand moth diversity. So let's get started. Let's learn about these nighttime critters. Butterflies tend to get most of the attention, but moths outnumber butterflies 10 to 1. Moths have been around much longer than butterflies. They've been around for 190 million years, where butterflies have only been around for about 56 million years. And because moths have been on the planet for much longer, there are way more species of them. There are about 170,000 species of moths, where there's only about 17,000 species of butterfly. Moths and butterflies are both in the order Lepidoptera, but they can be pretty difficult to tell apart. In fact, some moths are more closely related to some butterflies than they are to some other moths. There are some ways to tell the difference between moths and butterflies, but not all of them fit neatly into these categories. For one, moths tend to be out at night, where butterflies tend to be active during the day. But there are always exceptions to the rules, and there are some moths that are out during the daytime. In North America, the easiest way to tell moths apart from butterflies is from their antennae. Butterflies have clubbed antennae, whereas moths have combed or feathery antennae. Moths tend to be a more dull color than butterflies. Butterflies tend to be more bright and vivid, which is why they get all the attention, but there are some gorgeous moths out there. Butterflies tend to have more smooth and slender bodies, whereas moths tend to be a little bit chunkier and a little bit plumper. I think they are super cute. You can get some really plump, chubby-looking moths that are just adorable. When they rest, butterflies tend to hold their wings upright, whereas moths tend to spread them out. Many moths are important pollinators. In a previous video, we talked about how Darwin identified the relationship between some pollinators and their plants, and that they only pollinate one species. This was found through the relationship between an orchid and a hawk moth. To learn all about what pollination is and how it works, make sure to check out the video listed at the top of the screen. Moths do not seek out pollen like bees. They are foraging on flowers exclusively for their nectar, and as they do this, they get pollen over their bodies and spread the pollen, acting as pollinators. In England, researchers found that moths conducted shorter visits but were able to pollinate flowers more quickly. Therefore, they were more efficient pollinators. A fun fact that I learned while adapting the book, How to Attract Wildlife to Your Garden for U.S. audiences, is that many moths do not have mouth parts. They emerge from their cocoons and they are just going to mate for the time that they're alive. They're not foraging. So for these moths, they're not going to be good pollinators because they are not visiting flowers to take in nectar. What we're going to do this week is explore moth biodiversity. I am going to challenge you to attract moths to your yard. It's super simple using this setup. All you need is a white or lightly colored sheet. I have my white sheet hanging over a tree branch, but you can even spread it out across a bush. Take either flashlights or black lights, either works. Black lights supposedly work a little bit better, but they're both going to attract moths and other nighttime critters. Once it gets dark, turn on your lights, shine it on your sheet, and then wait to see what comes up. You might have to wait a little while, give some time for insects to arrive. They will. It's almost nighttime, and that means the moths are going to be out and have a white sheet. And I just have a couple of flashlights. This one is a blue light, and I have a regular flashlight. And we're just going to set it up and see what kind of moths we can get. We are setting up our sheet. I made it super simple. Then I'm just going to prop up these flashlights and aim them towards the sheet. What do you think, Pickles? Sounds like a good idea? Pickles? Pickles? Ruby thinks it sounds like a good idea. Make sure your light shines on the sheet to attract bugs, especially moths. I've been doing this all week, and every night I've been able to observe a new insect showing up. You can see how the different temperature or weather conditions might affect what insects show up. The day before it rained, and we definitely got some different species than we had the previous day. The reason why this works so well to attract moths is because scientists have discovered that flying insects will actually twist their bodies so that their back is facing the light. This characteristic allows them to perch on the cloth and then for you to observe them. Light affects wildlife in many different kinds of ways. This is one of the reasons why I turn off my lights at night. You can do this experiment to observe, to see what kinds of moths and insects are in your area, but you don't want to leave the lights on all night long. One thing that I've noticed over the years, it really does seem like there are fewer insects than there used to be. When I was young and my parents were driving home, we would have tons of insects on the car windshield that we would have to clean it. And nowadays, that just doesn't happen anymore. And in fact, research has verified that we are in an insect apocalypse. Insect populations have declined by 70%. Even if you don't like insects, remember, insects probably make up the foundation of the diet of animals you do love, like birds or some mammal species. To make sure that we have an abundant and diverse insect community, including moths, make sure that you plant native species. Many moths require native plants for their survival. They lay eggs on these species and the caterpillars eat leaves. Make sure you check out this previous Kids Club video to learn how you can plant native in your yard. And then this fall, we're going to be talking about leaving the leaves. In a previous video, we talked about the importance of creating wildlife habitat. We're going to be talking about leaving leaves as well and creating spaces where those leaves can decompose, because many insect species like moths will overwinter in those leaves. I'm so excited for you to try out this moth experiment, and let me know in the comments below what you find. If you like this video, please subscribe and turn the alerts on so you don't miss the next one. You can also join us in the Wildlife Biology for Kids Club, where you will get the downloadable activities, step-by-step instructions, worksheets, and get connected to a community of parents who also want to get their kids outside and connected to nature.